and give us a quick overview. We are now live on a Wamda face-off with Ahmed Khatib on the left here, the CEO of MarkaVIP, the region's largest flash sales site focusing on luxury goods. And in the middle, we have Ronaldo Mouchouar, the CEO of Souq.com, the region's largest online retailer with a variety of verticals. How are you guys?
Very good.
Hey, Nina, how are you?
Excellent. So today we're just going to be focusing on discussing challenges in e-commerce in the Middle East and North Africa. Let's just kick off first with you guys. Can you each, in basically 30 seconds, of how you started the company and how it's been going to date?
Sure.
I guess we'll start with you, Ahmed, because you're on the left.
Okay, perfect. Hey everyone, hope everyone is doing well. It's really exciting to be on this Wamda live broadcast, I guess for the first time with face-off. So definitely good times. And congratulations to Ronaldo for the $40 million funding from Naspers. That's definitely exciting for the future. In terms of MarkaVIP, I mean, I've told the story multiple times. I'm an executive that came from Silicon Valley, where I've spent around 14 years working for e-commerce companies and online companies in San Francisco Bay Area. I wanted to do something more entrepreneurial after having spent all this time in the Valley, and so decided to come back to the Middle East. Where I noticed that there's a huge demand for e-commerce, and then we launched MarkaVIP in November 2010. Today we have 2.2 million members, and we're adding around 5,000 to 6,000 members a day, and we're growing significantly month over month. It's definitely very, very exciting times for us.
So hello everyone, really excited to be here. My story is a bit different. My dad is a merchant. I'm an electrical engineer, so Souq and electronic engineering. I thought e-commerce would be an interesting, as Ahmed said, an opportunity in the region. I also studied in the US, worked for a management consulting firm. It was very exciting, a lot of challenges. But at one point, I felt like I wanted to come back to the region. And when we started Souq early on, e-commerce was at its infancy. So we figured if e-commerce is still growing and is small, let's build a platform. So it's not only opportunity for the company to grow, but also to have others sell on the platform. So we actually started Souq as a platform for people to trade on the internet. And as the company progressed, we have now a formidable marketplace business. We're the largest in the Middle East, as well as we retail certain channels. Today, Souq gets about 9 million visits a month, about 4 million uniques come to the website every month. We have a variety of 200,000 products. The differentiation between a deal site and Souq.com is that every item you get on Souq is always a deal, and you can search for the deal, and you can always get it at a good price. So we're always better in pricing because of the economics of e-commerce, really, in terms of retail.
Thank you, guys. So I noticed you just threw out a couple of metrics there about your user base and your visits. Are there any metrics you can share in general on how large each of the platforms is today?
Well, I mean, in terms of MarkaVIP, we're happy and open, as always, to share metrics, of course, if it makes sense. We're growing in the region. We're adding a lot of members. We're getting 350,000 visits a day, which is quite significant. We're growing very fast in markets where e-commerce hasn't been proven and, let's say, hasn't been sustained by a lot of existing e-commerce companies. So Lebanon and Jordan are very big for us. For example, let me just bring up my LJ Metrics platform here. So the average customer on MarkaVIP places close to 10 orders in their lifetime. which is quite significant. For us, that's a clear indication that people are demanding more and more good deals and good products on MarkaVIP, and the appetite for e-commerce is ever increasing. So we believe that the market is very, very large. We think that we're still in our infancy stages in terms of growth opportunity. Yeah, I mean, again, we're happy to share any information when it's relevant and when it makes sense. Yeah, if you have any other specific questions.
Our model is a bit different. We operate more locally in the markets we operate in. So we are present today in 4 markets. We have a very large presence in the GCC, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, as well as Egypt. For us has been growing really strong. Our Alexa ranking, if you look at all our sites, is in the top 50 in the UAE. I think we're 12 or 10 continuously. We're in the top 10 between all the global sites, basically. So we're probably one of the most visited local site in Egypt. We're number 35. So in terms of ranking, our Facebook fan page in Egypt has more than 450,000 members, about 200,000 SKUs we sell on the site. So what's interesting about Souq is we've seen quite a bit of diversification of categories. Early on, our focus was a lot more on electronics. I think we're better than retail in electronics. We have maybe 50,000 different unique products that a person can buy. You probably can't walk into any particular store and be able to find that kind of selection. But recently, actually, we acquired also Souq, which is like MarkaVIP, a flash sale model site. Ahmed knows it very well, as well as a sports vertical. So we've kind of diversified away from just being an electronic site to a lot more lifestyle categories. We've just recently launched Souq Fashion. So we're seeing now a mix where our buyers buy electronics, buy health and beauty products, buy fashion, and it's really exciting. With 9 million visits, so I think we're even locally, from even portals, we're up there in terms of the traffic we get. Users buy about 1.4 items every time they purchase something on Souq. So there's also that cross basket between categories, and it's really exciting times. I think the region is going through a big boost in e-commerce. We're investing more. The major players have gotten investment. Our brand really is our ambassador, and the service we provide is what we aspire to improve to our customers. And I don't think I want to be anywhere else, and it's really cool. I mean, this is it. It's happening now in the region, and we're in the midst of it.
So you mentioned that Egypt is one of your biggest markets, or you're very popular in Egypt. Ahmed, can you speak to that? Where are your biggest markets? Actually, Ronaldo, can you confirm that? Is Egypt actually your biggest market in the region when it comes to breaking it down?
Clearly, no. In terms of sales, the Gulf is much bigger. So Saudi would be in Dubai, and UAE sites are probably bigger than Egypt. But Egypt has been growing really fast for us. We have a very big local presence there, and but we're seeing good uptake. I mean, there's a lot of interest in e-commerce. I think distribution in Egypt is different, dynamics of it. Real estate is complex. There isn't that mall real estate that is available, for example, in the GCC. But also you have challenges in terms of adaptation of e-commerce. The percentage of users who buy online in Egypt, for example, would be lower than markets such as Saudi or the UAE. Again, we're a distribution platform. A lot of brands use us, and we're able to reach people in Cairo, in the greater Cairo, as well as tier 2 cities in Egypt. So it's a great market and has great potential, but clearly in sales today, it's not as the sales in terms of volumes. I mean, the quantities are very decent, but not like the Gulf. The Gulf is still, I think, much ahead due to income, due to penetration rates of internet, more time spent maybe on internet. Egypt is a lot more mobile, so a lot more use the internet through their mobile, e-commerce through mobile. I think lags once behind e-commerce through desktops. That is changing very fast with tablets, and and things are, I mean, it's a bright market, but it's an upcoming market. It still needs development, and we focus on it. We've been focused on it since 2010, actually.
Yeah. So with regards to Egypt, it's definitely a huge market, but we're not really interested in completely focusing on Egypt right now because it's a market that's always going to be there. Traffic acquisition is extremely cheap in Egypt, so you can definitely acquire a ton of traffic rather quickly and easily and cheaply. But Egypt is definitely something that we're thinking about, but we're not actively trying to enter into this market right now because of the political situation, because of the very difficult customs situation, the supply chain and distribution situation. In terms of our largest market is Saudi Arabia by far, which is the same for Souq. Our second largest market is Jordan. We are local in both of these countries as well. Our average basket size, interestingly enough, is 1.8. Which you know also is a very exciting metric. It's above what you would see in the industry standards, let's say in Europe and in the United States. And so we're still trying to grow very much in the existing markets that we're in. We're in 8 countries, all of the GCC in Jordan and Lebanon. The reason why I mentioned Jordan and Lebanon as being exciting is because we're effectively the only player there, and we are the largest player there. That's again a testimony to the fact that we focused on execution in these countries, and we delivered in these 2 countries, and also our ability to tap into new markets where e-commerce was never proven. So we are considering going into new markets in North Africa, as I mentioned to you. Maybe northern Iraq. I don't know. I mean, all these things are on the drawing board for us. But the sheer amount of appetite and demand that we have right now on the platform in existing markets that we're in is keeping us focused on making sure that we service the customer, making sure that our customers get a quick resolution to their problems, quick resolution to their returns if they have returns. And that we are immediately accessible if should any problems arise. So we're really focused on the customer care segment and mastering and again focusing on the customers in the markets where we are, mastering that before we move into any new markets because it's still a greenfield.
Yeah. So let's actually talk about the risks in these markets. Egypt is difficult because there's a lot of cash on delivery. Saudi Arabia is difficult because there are a lot of returns and cash on delivery. How do you guys manage your risks when it comes to logistics? How do you minimize delivery times, and how do you deal with cash on delivery?
So, I mean, our goal is to deliver all our products within 2 to 3 days. Right now, we're more closer to the 3 to 5 days. This is the key KPI in any service we roll out in Souq.com. Because we've been a platform connecting multiple merchants and businesses, as well as our own products that we sell on the site, we've had to work throughout the 4 or 5 years since 2006 on this issue of how we consolidate COD, how we make the couriers accountable for the products we give them in delivery and return. And imagine doing it from a warehouse, but we do it from a network of multiple warehouses as well as multiple merchants. So the level of complexity is quite high. Sometimes I feel we're more like a bank and a credit card and an insurance company and a courier company running all at once because we score the buyers, the sellers, and the whole how that process works. It's kind of an interesting point of view when you look at things from a marketplace point of view, where even when you're selling on the platform, you have to adhere to the same standards as everyone else. There's buyer's remorse. If you're delayed in delivering the product, people change their mind. If you're more delayed, people change their mind even more, and you have to deal with that whole reverse return cycle. And those are just, any e-commerce companies deals with them. I think just the complexity level, having been paid later than earlier, changes your cash flow, changes your days to pay, changes your capital, that as you grow, you have to figure out exactly how that all works, balance that with your marketing, operations spend, IT, services, but again, you have to innovate. And I think this is where our region, maybe people say, they look at Marka, they look at Souq, they look at Souq, and they say, you guys are doing similar to what other people are doing. And in certain aspects on the grand scheme of the business model, I agree, but when you come down to executing, especially different markets, different population, workforce, expats, habits, then things change. So a lot of things are common and similar, but there are specifics to this market. COD is one of these complexities that is challenging for any business. It becomes really challenging when you scale, so you need to make sure you're ready for it and managing it.
I want to get a little bit more specific, and then Ahmed, I'll hear your answer. How do you guys manage your local delivery? Do you use Aramex? Do you have an in-house solution? Can you just discuss that as well?
So, Aramex is our #1 partner. In specific other markets, we have specific couriers that we use along Aramex to kind of manage the volume, because we have sometimes spurts, and every company we work with has a certain capacity limitation, and we've been growing very fast, as well as we've tested certain markets as well on delivery. We feel it has certain advantages, but clearly also doing it at scale adds another more level of complexity to the business. So we really use the current infrastructure, and where we feel there is an opportunity to improve the service, we push certain KPIs or services that are a bit different and more customized.
Yeah, so for us it's a little bit different. Again, we're really focused on the customer in the sense that we want to make sure that the customer has a flawless experience and a successful interaction, let's say, or a positive interaction with any time they touch anything in our system, whether it's our customer care, whether it's our call center, whether it's our packaging, our delivery. This is what we're focused on. So today, MarkaVIP delivers 60% of its orders using its own fleet, its own cars, and its own drivers. This, of course, allows us when we reach economies of scale and reach volumes, it allows us to service the customer better. Aramex definitely is our biggest partner as well. But when you do things yourself, you can kind of measure your performance much better. And we incentivize our drivers, to treat the customer in the best manner, whether it's in their presentation, whether it's in their communication, whether it's just the whole chain. And we believe that no e-commerce company will succeed, whether it's Souq or MarkaVIP or whatever it is, if we're not able to capture that customer's loyalty, capture that customer's attention, and be able to monetize that loyalty all the time. So today, for example, on MarkaVIP, 80% of the revenue is coming from the repeat buyers, which is a huge KPI for us, a huge metric. While we are acquiring a lot of users, but we're actually seeing that our existing customers, our existing buyers are purchasing faster, and they are purchasing even higher amounts. So they're spending a lot more money on MarkaVIP. And the only way to continue to get these kinds of volumes and payments and amounts and orders and loyalty from our customers is to service them properly. So this is what we're focused on. Saudi Arabia is a very difficult market by far. The UAE is more savvy. Even Lebanon could be considered, more savvy than Saudi Arabia. So the geography, the terrain, it's a very dispersed country in terms of locations and cities, and it's very, very difficult to manage. And this is pretty much the last piece of the puzzle for us, which we're focused on solving right now. But once once we're in Saudi and our warehouses, which are there right now in Jeddah and Riyadh, are operational, we'll be able to cover almost 90% of the deliveries ourselves. Now, this is not to say that we are not working with Aramex on creative solutions to try to find out how we can have Aramex as well be included in some of the things that we're doing, and how Aramex can adapt to our business model, because it's a very, very different business model than Namshi than Souq itself. So it requires a little bit of creativity in order for us to be able to deliver in a cost-effective manner, but also to maintain that level of service that our customers have gotten accustomed to.
I know it's very difficult. It's a central problem in e-commerce in the region, having a lot of orders where people pay cash on delivery, and then you might have up to a 50% return rate, or 50% rate of use of cash on delivery, and maybe a 25% return rate, and it's a real cash drain for the business to send packages there and then pay for the return as well. Can you guys share any secrets about how you've cracked that market? Ahmed, I know you said you're still working on it. Can you share any bits?
Again, I mentioned this during the last one, the conference. We've created an algorithm, for example, that measures the risk per order. So the delivery per order as well per customer. So we look at the customer's history, we look at the customer's purchasing behavior, we look at the customer's city, maybe age, and we take all these things into consideration, and then we're able to really come up with a very educated guess on whether this customer is going to receive the order and pay for it, or reject it. So that's one way we've done it. The second way is exactly what Souq is doing, which is warehousing locally, so that when you are delivering when you get these returns, you're able to post them online for sale again to that country itself. So you don't have to do the reverse shipping of the returns back to Dubai, and you feature the product only to Saudi customers. This is something Souq is already doing, and this is something that we're implementing as well. So there's really not a secret solution to the Saudi problem. I think all of us are facing the same exact issue, whether it's Souq or Souq or Namshi or MarkaVIP. And everybody is coming up with innovative ways to deal with it on their own. Sometimes we share these solutions with each other, and sometimes we keep them to ourselves. But yeah, nobody has cracked that market completely yet.
I mean, I want to differ in one area. I really don't think Saudi is different. I think the fact that when you operate with Saudi domestically, as Ahmed had alluded that we do, the market just becomes like any other market. So that's, I think, when you're trying to tackle the market abroad and maybe import and so forth, things get a bit differently, and this is where Souq and MarkaVIP's models are a bit more aligned in terms of what happens. But in general, for me, we don't treat Saudi market. We believe if you deliver quick to the customer, you are able to reduce these rates that they become manageable. And as reverse returns, while in Europe, for example, in apparel, I think Ahmed might have the numbers more accurately, maybe return rates are 25%, even if it's their prepaid, people return goods. We don't face the issue maybe when the customer receives the goods, but we have the issue sometimes because it's cash on delivery. So just the model is a bit more twisted in a different way. But I think we're domestic, we have a domestic team, we have a very big warehouse, we work with Aramex and others as well. So just you got to work on that issue, but it's not seamless. It's not like you pay online, you get your cash. So from cash flow point of view, you definitely need to model it at least in terms of how you manage as you scale. Early on, when our sites were small 2-3 years ago, they were not an issue, but as you grow, you have to just make sure that you are able to supply your supply chains and your days to receive goods and offer them on website and the cycles it takes to put the products up on the website. And on top of it, the delivery times that feels a bit longer in that market. And it's a bigger market, so clearly it has some, that plays a factor. And not having any postal system in any of the countries we, I think, operate in, at least we don't use any of the postal systems today. I'm hoping one day we can. I've seen many global players switch from the big courier companies to the normal two-day mail in many countries. In the US, for example, priority mail is now being used by extensive e-commerce players, so they were able to kind of recater the postal system. So those are the things that make the delivery charges very expensive. For me, when the delivery charge becomes expensive, then the basket size, and this is what I think we see, that our baskets are all bigger because people buy more because of the shipping charges. And if you want to subsidize the shipping, then you really need to work on your margin. And I just think that the cost of a package to deliver between $8 to $12 is an expensive delivery compared to Europe. I think in Germany, US, priority mail is $2.99. These markets have social security, fuel charges, taxes, they're massive. So somewhere there, we still have a room to grow, but I think this comes with scale, with infrastructure. The courier companies are realizing the potential of e-commerce, so they are scaling. They are now starting to compete. Initially, only 1 or 2 players were doing COD. Now there are more companies that are able to do COD. So that just changes the ecosystem. We have to provide, as Ahmed said, local services, good customer service, be able to ship fast, push the couriers and the third-party companies we work with to go up to the second level in terms of improving their service, have them a bit compete, have us do like Ahmed is doing on delivery. So sometimes you have at least a KPI you can benchmark others on. And I mean, but the stuff you tackle, I think, is a lot more than I think if an entrepreneur was doing the same thing, maybe in the US. But also there, the space is crowded and there are multiple players here. We are few. We're able now to raise capital. We have a great team.
Right.
To have talent come from the world and work with us. So, you know, just everything has plus and minuses.
E-commerce is a very cash-intensive business. Can both of you just really briefly mention how much funding you've taken on and whether you've used that to invest in inventory?
Yeah, so we look at obstacles as opportunities. So for us, it's the same thing in the region because, again, if it was very easy to set up a business, then it's going to be very easy to replicate and copy that business. And that's not something that we like for a player to come in and easily replicate the business, because then it's not as challenging, it's not as exciting, you know, unless that competitor is a real competitor and a real player. So all of the challenges that we're facing and all these companies are facing, whether it's COD, whether it's logistics returns, we see this as a barrier to entry, and it's an exciting challenge, exciting problems for us to solve, and we're not afraid of it. Yes, it probably will require more funding, let's say, as the average startup would require in our kind of business somewhere in Europe and the United States, because we effectively have to finance our growth, and as Ronaldo mentioned, we've become almost a bank because we are lending terms to our customers. But again, I think this is what makes this region very exciting. The company and the entrepreneur, or the companies and the entrepreneurs that will solve these issues, at the end of the day, will have that first mover advantage. With regards to funding, MarkaVIP has raised close to $22 million so far, which is significant, and we're putting that money to use. Our investors are very happy with the results that we've been delivering so far, and we're heavily investing in our technology, our customer care, and our logistics infrastructure.
So, I mean, for us, again, the focus has always been on the customer. We've been lucky to have a good leadership position in the market, and those challenges that Ahmed alluded to we just look at them as opportunities, and we've been dealing with them for a long time, and it's part of our DNA. So we just know how to manage, and we manage them. In terms of funding, initially, as you know, Jabbar Group, which was a spin-off after the Maktub deal with Yahoo, put in an investment in Souq. We've gone through a round after that, and now recently with Tiger Global and Naspers, a sizable investment, putting the deal size very close to what Maktub would have been, or a bit maybe around that figure. So we're very excited about that. The terms of the deal, due to the Naspers is a traded company and the term sheets that we have, we don't really disclose it, but the amounts are going to help us invest in improving our customer service, product selection, expanding our fashion vertical that we launched just before, improving the warehouses that we have in the distribution center. But in general, our model, our stocks that we keep, we optimize that in a way that really into the inventory that you keep. That is maybe valid for certain categories, but other categories you might have to invest a little bit in inventory so you're able to fulfill the product faster, and we just have that combination.
And can you share any insights on who your buyers are?
In terms of the customer, like their age and demographic, Ahmed might have that data.
Exactly. Age, demographic, who's buying?
I mean, it's the typical customer that is between the ages of 18 to 24. 60% of the time will be female. 40% of the time will be male. An idea, our top customer to date has spent over $250,000 on MarkaVIP. So that's another metric for you. I'm still waiting for the face-off part, by the way. That's what I signed up for, but it doesn't seem like it's happening. Yeah, that's our customer. It's those young, savvy, connected youth, all over the Middle East, all over the Arab world, that are on Facebook, that are very big on social, on Twitter, and then we try to capture, we try to market these people as much as we can by basically following their trends on the internet, following what kind of pages they're visiting, what kind of music they're listening to, what kind of celebrities they're trying to emulate, and yeah.
Ronaldo, can you also speak to those metrics? So Ahmed said 60%. Okay.
Did he say 60% male or female? I didn't get that. I couldn't hear him. Female. So I mean, ours are just flipped because I think we're health and beauty maybe are bigger. So we have 60 to 65, depending on the market, that are male versus 35. Of course, on Sukkar and the fashion properties, that could be similar to MarkaVIP. Our age also, we've managed to get a bit an older client base. I think our baskets are bigger, the handsets and the laptops and whatever the customers buy on Souq seems to be a bit maybe more expensive. And so our ages go up to 35. Some ads, some also targeting, we do up to even a little bit older than that, because I think now e-commerce is becoming a bit more mainstream than before. So initially we saw what MarkaVIP saw, that more of the buyers were younger, and that is changing, which is a good sign because the income, as you know, with age grows a bit. So a bit slightly different metrics than MarkaVIP.
So Ahmed asked about the face-off, and so at this point, I guess we can switch into, can each of you, if each of you had to ask the other company a question, the other founder a question, what would it be? I guess Ahmed, we'll start with you.
What were the terms of the investment? No, I'm kidding. So if I had a question for Ronaldo, it would be, what are your logistics return rates in Saudi Arabia?
So they're below the 20%, so much better than the numbers that you guys have. I think that's because we're much more local, and we sometimes have a lot, even single-digit months. So optimize that quite a bit.
How do you know that these are the numbers that we have?
You said 40%, or Nina said, I'm not sure.
No, I never mentioned anything about 40%. Hey, cool. What question do you have for me?
With the cycles, so you guys, I think the flash sale model, from what I understand it, you block outside and you ship the goods after the items are sold, you clear them through customs and deliver them, so that adds quite a bit to your delivery cycle. I mean, how is the customer managed when he's getting his item 1 month, 21 days, sometimes even in sites in the US, in the flash sale model, it's 14 days. So with COD, don't you see that? How do you manage that?
The global average for that is around 18 days for all flash sales modes. And the way we sell that to the customers, or the way the customers sell that to themselves, or convince themselves of this long delivery time, is the fact that they're getting the product, first of all, at a heavily discounted rate. So you won't be able to find these products at these prices in the malls, for example. Secondly, they're getting, as I mentioned, authentic, original brands. They're getting it delivered directly to their home. If they don't like it, they can return it. So the combination of all these things, all this great value, justifies this long delivery for the customer. And yes, maybe instant gratification when you're shipping within 2 to 3 days lowers, higher, let's say, the demand for the product, and the customer service becomes much better, then it may make sense. But we're not seeing that actually the long delivery times is affecting the customer's ability to buy as much as we thought. MarkaVIP, for example, which is the leader, as you know, these are the guys that are doing over $1 billion in revenue. Their average lead times is 18 to 22, and that did not manage to scare them from scaling up the business to the volume that they are at right now.
No, just to clarify, I misspoke. I wasn't actually representing MarkaVIP's numbers, but I meant 52, and I've heard even up to 70% or 80% rates of cash on delivery in Saudi Arabia. But on average, I know that the return rate is closer to 25%. I don't know what MarkaVIP's.
That's a question that we can ask Ronnie. So what's the split between your cash on delivery versus credit card?
In all markets, one market?
Yeah, all markets.
It varies. I mean, I think in general we say it's 70-30, but we've managed in certain markets and certain categories to reduce that it's 70 ePay and 30 COD. So.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Ahmed, what about you guys?
Yeah, we've got similar rates. So in certain markets we're 70-30, and in certain markets we're at 80-20. And we're trying to improve that. I mean, this is a big issue for the region, and it's unfortunate that we see, for example, a lot of customers when they're buying from Amazon. This is information that I heard from some e-commerce executives from their shop and ship business. The fact that when they're purchasing from Amazon or Net-a-Porter, or they're purchasing from anywhere from a Western website, let's say, they're using their credit card. But when they're purchasing on local sites here, they're using the cash on delivery option. So there's still a certain level of insecurity on the Arab consumer, or the online Arab consumer, to use their credit card. So I think as part of what the Namshi guys were pitching to me yesterday, we had a great meeting with them, is that all of us should come together, whether it's Namshi or Souq or Coupon or whoever, come together and put together a campaign where we really advertise, including Aramex, where we really do a huge marketing offline, online campaign, TV campaign about shopping from Arab e-commerce websites, and the safety of dealing with online Arab e-commerce websites to really incentivize the customer to start using their credit cards. And this definitely would be a very big help for companies like ours, even though, as I mentioned, we're not afraid of it. But it is for me disappointing or unfortunate that people would use their credit cards online in the States, for example, to purchase products from Amazon and not use it on MarkaVIP or Souq or Namshi or whatever it is. We need to support this region. We need to build the e-commerce ecosystem, and we need to, the Arab consumer is as responsible, let's say, for helping the ecosystem as the entrepreneur is. So we need to support these e-commerce initiatives.
Do you guys foresee any kind of similar working group coming together to pressure governments in the region to make their customs and duties processes simpler?
Yeah, so the idea was to have a campaign where all the e-commerce companies in the region, this is Namshi's idea, it's not my idea, all the e-commerce companies in the region come together and they do a massive campaign to educate the Arab consumer about shopping online from Arab e-commerce websites. Now, in terms of lobbying governments or in terms of working with governments directly to change some of the policies and to affect the environment such that e-commerce can exist in a much more efficient manner, this is something that we're already doing. So we are in touch with the Jordanian government, we're in touch with the Emirates government, we're in touch with the Qatari government, the Saudi government as well, and we're always trying very hard to convince them of all of the benefits of people shopping online, especially, for example, in areas where there's traffic congestions, people, going to the malls, of gas emissions, things of that nature. But this is going to take a lot of time. Because the government processes are quite slow. There's a lot of bureaucracy. There's also a lot of money to be lost and made. There's exclusivities on the ground, so people are going to fight e-commerce, or they're going to hinder or the growth of e-commerce. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely something that I think that regionally all the e-commerce companies need to work on. Form some sort of a group that represents the industry with these governments. It's actually a good idea.
So I mean, our take has been initially, I mean, what we would want to do with government is basically highlight the opportunities. If we wait too long for regulations and put our strategies around those, it could take a while. But since we're a platform, our mission as a platform was always to empower others, not just us, to benefit from e-commerce. And I think that sets our mission a bit bigger than the company itself in terms of the opportunity it's providing for thousands of sellers, for example, in Egypt. And I think as that volume starts to come up, then we'll create entrepreneurs who not only are online savvy, but could be product savvy, be it in textiles, be it in handcraft, be it in even making parts in electronics and certain devices. So I think as that volume grows, we're able to go back and maybe facilitate more. I think when it comes to customs economy, there's a bigger play, as Ahmed alluded to, in terms of how countries are structured, their tax structure, their import duties. So having, I think, a special law only for e-commerce will probably not make sense. We're seeing that those two words quite a bit kind of convolute, and they converge to become one. You're importing products. So I'm not seeing that can change very quickly. It changes that we have more people using e-commerce. We have to earn the trust of our customers. So Amazon doesn't offer, for example, COD. We are offering COD. So by giving choice, you're naturally allowing your customers to choose. And why we are giving that choice? Because of the consumer behavior and how they feel e-commerce is working. And maybe part of it is because not all of us are delivering quickly. Sometimes products come late. The couriers say Tuesday, it comes on Sunday. So people say, okay, I'll pay when it comes. So it's more of the ecosystem that has to change. As we scale, Ahmed alluded to that, we are able to be in a position to, I think, work with the private sector entities. There are banks, regulation, taxes, but this is every business deals with.
So just finally, I know we're basically almost out of time, but can each of you just really briefly touch upon where you think the biggest opportunity for growth is in the next 2 years at each of your companies? What will you be focusing on? And what is your single biggest piece of advice to an entrepreneur going into e-commerce today? Really briefly.
So, I mean, in terms of growth, the biggest opportunity again is continuing to focus on the logistics infrastructure, the delivery infrastructure, and making it seamless for the consumer to purchase online. I think this is where we all have to invest in, and I think this is where we are investing in. The market is so huge that even considering launching new markets or launching new verticals or launching anything it requires that you have the right foundation. And without this right foundation, it doesn't matter how many verticals you launch and how much traffic you get, you're not going to get anywhere. So for us, the biggest opportunity is to continue doing what we're doing, to continue focusing on satisfying the customer, reducing the delivery times, getting a bigger discount for our consumers, and working on our technology. This is what we're going to be focused on for the next year or two. But at the same time, we are continuously studying new opportunities. I mean, we have a strategy department in MarkaVIP with 6 people just thinking about what MarkaVIP is going to look like in 2013 and 2014. So we definitely have a lot of plans in the pipeline, and you're going to hear about some of them pretty soon. So for us, the biggest opportunity is the opportunity that we have right now, which is growing MarkaVIP in the existing markets and satisfying the customer. The biggest advice that I have for an entrepreneur is basically to, again, I've mentioned this during the last month Wamda conference, is to choose the right investors, to make sure that the investors that you're taking money from understand your language, have the same incentives that you do, and are there for long term to support you and support your company and support your management team and your staff. The second piece of advice is taking care of your employees. At MarkaVIP, we pride ourselves of having a very open, direct, honest environment where the employee is a very active member, in the decision-making process. It can voice their opinions to the CEO or the CFO or to any C-level person without any ramifications, and gathering all the employees around your project rather than around yourself. This is something we're very, very big on, and no entrepreneur will succeed if he's not at the ground level with his employees and doesn't have the humbleness and the human side, let's say, to make sure that everyone is convinced of their dream. Yeah.
Yes, Ahmed alluded to it. Versus online, I think less than 0.5%, or maybe close to maybe 1%, or even less. Between that, that's what people buy online versus retail. So opportunity is immense in the region. But that only you can convert these buyers if you have the right service and you can earn their trust. In terms of an entrepreneur, I think you have to build a good team. You have to see where you are strong and where you are not, and make sure your partners complement you well understood, and have the people buy into that mission. So it's a joint effort. It's going to be a long ride. It's going to be sometimes rough. So unless you have this team that is really behind the company and the brand, you're going to have difficulties. So there should be an alignment on overall the objectives and what we're trying to do, and make sure that the incentives are there for the team to work with you. And it's going to be a long process for the company. So if people are thinking short term, I think in the region we notice the exits takes a bit longer, and you keep it for the people that are running it and managing it. So that kind of a metaphor of how the team grows and the team and how you're able to attract talent. And there will be areas where you are not very good at, making sure your team complements your skill set, be it in finance, be it in operations, be it in marketing, be it in commerce. Really, e-commerce touches upon so many different verticals, including the customer service. Now we're talking about logistics, warehousing, operations. So the actual paradigm that we span is quite big, and no one person can do it all. So it's all about having a really good team with you.
Thank you. So just finally, do either of you have a final question for each other? Do you want to, if you want to ask anything else of each other, now's the moment.
Yeah, so...
Just want to see when Ahmed is free to have coffee.
Anytime, man, anytime. So Ronaldo is one of the very first people that I've met when I came back to the States, and he's been a good friend since. But I have a question, and I'm pretty sure the Namshi guys are watching right now, and all of us are asking about this Souq fashion. So can you tell us more about the Souq fashion? When was the last time? What does it look like? Are you guys competing against Namshi? How does it work?
So I mean, I think for us, we looked at the fashion space. Souq was getting considerable orders in that category. We felt organizing it and improving the customer experience of how people buy fashion is very different than the find and discovery process of how you would buy electronics. So putting a sub-site called Souq Fashion was the right, I think, approach for us. In terms of what we offer on the product, it's really fast-moving fashion products that we feel are appealing to customers at the right price brackets, and as you know well, sourcing those products and understanding the customer and exactly what they want. So it's not like the true flash sale model where you have maybe all the brands at a discount, but maybe not the latest models, maybe in season -1 or 2. We're more focused on what's trending, what's coming up on the market right now, and having it available to our customers as fast as we can.
Cool.
Ronnie, do you have any final question for Ahmed?
Yeah, he asked me when I'm for coffee. So I'm leaving back to Amman today, actually. So definitely catch coffee whenever you're in Jordan.
Well, all right. Well, thank you guys so much for participating in our first face-off, and I'm glad we got to review some of the challenges and opportunities in the sector.
Yeah, thank you so much, Wamda, Habib, and Naina.
Thanks.
Again, there was no face-off. There was no face-off part, so maybe a lot of the viewers that were watching were expecting some sort of big face-off, but maybe next time. But in return for you guys coming and watching this, MarkaVIP is giving 25% off, $25 off to all of the Wamda viewers today. So just go to MarkaVIP, add something over $100 to your cart, and you'll get a $25 discount immediately. Use discount code WamdaVIP. Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll be in touch soon, Naina and Ronaldo. Bye-bye.
Thank you.